As AI gets smarter and smarter, and if you believe my friend Ray Kurzweil, who wrote the book The Singularity is Near, he predicted we're going to get AIs as smart as people by 2029. Of course, by that time, they're going to be a million times smarter than people in a whole bunch of particular ways. So maybe it'll be a few years sooner than that, maybe a few years after, but if that's roughly right, it's a big issue who owns and controls this, right? You would much rather have it owned and controlled by a broadly distributed, democratically governed network than owned or controlled by a single company or a single government. And
CBDCs is another interesting topic where people have different views on it. I think the tokenization of all this stuff will, to a certain degree, create some governmental controls that some people may or may not like. And to another degree, it will increase the amount of value that can efficiently flow into both the traditional financial system and more importantly, into the crypto system. And those CBDCs, I think, will also need to be part of this messaging standard.
Correct.
Or not part of it, but they will need to utilize something of that sense, right? And so I don't think that a messaging standard, I think it also covers treasury management, basically. It doesn't just cover the securities or the commodities industry. Basically, this messaging standard across chains, because if CBDCs all have a different chain, it's really just the same problem, right? It's how do I transact from my treasury into a commodity, out of a commodity into a security, across 5 different chains through a single messaging system that makes it simple for my back end to do that as a bank or institution.
When the team selected the Stellar network and the Stellar chain, it was really because of the proof of stake nature of Stellar. And that was before you had all the noise about the massive energy consumed by the proof of work. So, they had the foresight to say we wanted to be in proof of stake. And it's been a great partnership. Yeah, so Franklin Templeton in 2022 celebrated 75 years, and you don't make it and thrive as a company for 75 years unless you innovate. And we fundamentally believe that blockchain technologies can be very important for asset management, frankly, for all financial services. So making sure that we're continuing to evolve, we actually started, I think, as early as 2017. Since then, we have launched an on-chain money market fund approved by the SEC. We have several crypto strategies that we do fundamental research on. We are node operators. We have a venture capital fund. For our money market fund, we've actually built an entire transfer agency system in the Stellar network. We're very enthusiastic about this space, and we think it's very important for asset management.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we have Ben Goertzel on Singularity Net and Ray Kurzweil saying that computers are going to be smarter than humanity. And guys, we know that is impossible because the humans are the one building the computers. And don't get me wrong, once they turn on these supercomputers, AI, robots, algorithms, and drones are going to become geniuses. But nothing is smarter than God's creation. If you look at every piece of technology, it needs the minerals from the Most High. Don't fall for the devil's tricks. And then we have Chainlink's founder on tokenization, CBDCs, saying it's definitely going to have some government control. And guys, we know these stablecoin CBDCs are programmable, telling you what, where, and when and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, it's gone. And we know blockchain gives the NWO the all-seeing eye. And we know all that Chainlink data is going to Swift. And we have the CEO of Franklin Templeton uses the Stellar blockchain and explains the corporation has been around for 75 years. Because guys, they know all about the 4th Industrial Revolution. We know all these big banks and big corporations have been funding Bitcoin and crypto. So we know for a fact they've been implementing blockchain and these protocols. And then on top of it, AI, robots, algorithms, and drones. And guys, the movie called The Debt Ceiling just got more entertaining. We have McCarthy passes his version in the House. Now it goes back to Biden and the Republicans. And we know this is nothing but the Hegelian dialectic. And we had McCarthy quote Milton Friedman, saying that when it comes to inflation, it starts with spending from Congress. And of course, he said the Democrats. But guys, when we go back, we know it started with Trump and the Republicans. And we know when it comes to inflation, it's all about the Fed. But we have McCarthy stepping up his speaking game. And we know all the greats who did the Hegelian dialectic were wonderful speakers. And he definitely did a great job in this speech. And speaking of speeches, we have Tucker Carlson. And we know when it comes to Fox News, he definitely played the Hegelian dialectic and was one of the masters. And now that he's no longer with Fox News, guys, he's able to help destroy this current media model. When he was first let go, I put it in my Patreon that his job was to help get rid of the current model. Because, guys, we know it's all lies, but we know when it comes to the sheep, the masses, they want to take a side. They don't care about the truth. They care about what team they're cheering for. But like the great comedian George Carlin stated, it is a big club, and the sheep are definitely not in it. And remember the Cryptoteacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
The House Republicans just passed the only bill in Washington that lifts the debt limit, ends wasteful Washington spending, and puts America back on the right economic path. That we're going to limit the growth in the future. We're going to save by pulling back this unspent COVID money. We're going to grow this economy by making us energy independent again and getting more people, encouraging them back to work. The sad part here is now the Democrats need to do their job. The president can no longer ignore by not negotiating. Senator Schumer, if he thinks he's got a plan, put it on the floor. See if you can pass it, and then we can go to conference. But now, the president can no longer put this economy in jeopardy. We lifted the debt limit. We've sent it to the Senate. We've done our job, the only body in here that's done theirs. The Senate, I got to give them credit. They did name March Maple Syrup Month, and they have thanked UConn and congratulated them for their basketball win. But they've done nothing when it comes to the economy or the debt limit.
You want me to fight and stay here for now?
Exactly right.
Can you promise them that you won't accept a
I don't have to promise you. I promised the American public from the very beginning. We promised them that we would end our dependency on China. So not only did we create a select committee on China, we just passed a bill to make America stronger and China weaker. We said we would curb inflation that the Democrats created. How do you do that? Milton Friedman, one of the greatest economists of all time, says inflation is only started through Washington spending. That's what the Democrats did, harmed every single American. We eliminate wasteful Washington spending to curb inflation. We said we would grow the economy to make us energy independent, to actually cut the red tape so we could build things in America again. We passed H.R. 1, we put it in here as well. So we limit the future spending of Washington, the growth. The president makes some audacious, crazy comments about it. And all we're saying is we should spend exactly what we spent 4 months ago. This president wants to spend more money than we spent during COVID. This president thinks, even though he would sign the bill of the pandemic that is over, that they should keep the billions of dollars sitting out there that has not been spent, that sat there for 2 years over COVID. You know what? That's not the president's money. That's the American hardworking taxpayer money. And we should pull it back and save them money because it wasn't spent.
It's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people, people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
It's Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.